Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Boss It Up Radio. I am your host, Jocelyn, and I do have someone here special today who is going to be in the Small Business Owner Spotlight. Her name is Jasmine Jones, and she is the CEO of Primplife. Welcome, Jasmine.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm super excited about this show tonight because I like to consider this a boss chick segment. Even though, I appreciate and honor all the men that have came onto the show. There is nothing like having a sister, especially a sister of color who is making moves and changing the world and really looking out for those who can receive that invaluable information. So tell me a little bit more about you, where you're from, and what it is that you represent.
All right. So I'm Jasmine Jones, and I'm originally from Goldsboro, North Carolina. And I represent the Primplife Plan, and it is an empowerment organization for young girls, especially young girls ages between the ages of 6 and 14. And any young girl can benefit from it, but we kind of target girls of color so they can raise their self-esteem and be confident in who they are, and also just embrace their individual personalities and not be afraid to be themselves, so that when they get older and they enter the real world, they're their confident selves, and they know how to take charge and how to change their own communities and also love themselves. And so I'm here as a representative of self-love and confidence and all things girly and print life.
Absolutely. Now, I have to ask, how did you come up with the name Primplife for your business?
Oh, yeah. So, wow, that's been a while ago. So the actual origin of Primplife started when I was about 16 years old. I actually have the book. It started with this self-help guide, How to Primp Life. And I co-wrote it with my best friend. And we were trying to think of titles for giving advice to ourselves, because we wrote it for other teenagers, but it was by two teenagers. And I thought of the word primp, because primp means to groom with elaborate care, like you're doing your hair or looking in the mirror. And so it's like, well, why not do the same thing with your life? Make those careful, elaborate decisions with your life so you can make it as beautiful as it possibly can be. And that's how Primp Life came about, pretty much.
I love that. That's super dope. It's like basically, we're primping you. We're getting you together, like permed and pressed. Like when you
Yes.
put that starch on the jeans and you iron it, they're like the jeans will just stand up. I don't know if that's happened to y'all, but that's happened to me way back in the day. Put too much starch on the pants and they got the flakes and stuff on it. But yes, I absolutely love that. I also want to know what inspired you to want to do this. Did you come to a point in your life that something happened, or you seen something happen to someone else and that made you say, you know what, I want to make a difference in these young girls' lives?
I think both. Also observing my friends around me and other young girls, and then also kind of wanting to make a change within myself. I kind of always grew up with low self-esteem, and it was always lurking around me, and it's not a good feeling, and we all have those moments, but it's best not to stay in those moments. It's best to love yourself and be confident in who you are. And for the longest, I was like, I got to find a way to make this applicable to where it's not something that I feel like I have to tap into, kind of like a method to where it's like, okay, I feel good today. I love myself today. And I think that journey started for me when I was probably a teenager, probably around 15, 16. But more so when I got into college, I kind of made the conscious effort to, okay, no, I really want to impact others with this, because I see other girls going through the same thing, and even more so, even at college age. And it's like a reoccurring, I guess, problem that women go through. And I figured if we target girls younger, we start at ages 6, and that might seem very young to some, but the younger that they know, because you can be a little girl and still have low self-esteem, and the younger that they start to be confident in themselves and love who they are, when they get older, they'll be unstoppable. And some of the things that might come across, like bullying, things like that, it won't affect them as much.
Absolutely. Now, with these girls who are 6 to 14, who, you know, may be battling with low self-esteem or whatever the case may be, where initially do you feel that that derives from? Do you believe that it starts at home, or do you believe it's from ignorance on the parents' behalf? How do you think that these issues come to pass?
That's a good question. I really think I think it's a number of things. I do think it has a lot to do with the environment. Sometimes if you may not feel loved, you know, in your home environment, or you could have a very loving home environment and then get to school and you know, you might be bullied, or you might feel like you're different or an outcast. Because I know in my case, going to school and stuff, I always felt like I was like different or unique or whatever. And we don't always embrace that when we're kids, because you know, you want to fit in and you want to you kind of want to be accepted, whatever being accepted might mean, you know, at that time. So I think it's a number of things. I do think it has a lot to do with the environment and what you hear on a consistent basis. So if you consistently hear negative things, then I think that would have a lot to do with it. But also the media plays like a huge part in that. And even with the younger girls, because we're in like the social media age, everybody has a phone. Even a
Yes.
9-year-old. You know, they
Even
got
my
iPhones.
5-year-old daughter has been having a phone for 2 years. So, in a smartphone at that. So, yeah.
So she got it. You know, it starts early in the images that they see. Even with, you know, having like parental controls and things. Some of the things they may come across, I mean, that can have an impact on self-esteem depending on what they see. If they don't see loving and kind messages, that's why with the Primplife plan, we're very active on social media. We always post loving and inspirational things, whether it be our actual webtoon that we're posting, or even like quotables, things like that, because we want them to see love and positivity on every end, because you know, they might not see it at home or at school. But I definitely think it's an environment thing, and it kind of can internalize. Definitely think that's where it comes from.
Cool. Now, if there are parents watching, whether they be watching right now, or, you know, they'll log on later, and they, you know that they have a young daughter between those ages of 6 and 14 who seems like they may be battling with self-esteem issues, or any type of issues for that matter, where they're having, you know, low self-esteem, or, you know, confidence barriers and things like that. How would they go about contacting you to get your services?
Oh yeah, so I'm very easy to reach. Just go to primplife.org, and actually you can book a workshop right through the website. If you go to primplife.org and then you go to workshops, you can book what we call a family and friends workshop. That's for a small group, so that can be 1 to 5 people. You know, your daughter and her friends, and then we can have a little like powwow moment where we use, I'll give you an example, like our comic books and our activity books, and make sure we instill some love and some self-esteem and some positivity in there. And then also you can email me at info@primplife.org. And then we're very active on social media, Instagram at Primplife, Facebook at the Primplife Plan. Any of those avenues, you pretty much see what we have to offer, and can get in touch with me.
And also down at the bottom of the banner, I have placed how you can be contacted. I see that you also have a donation link as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the donations and how it helps Prep Life?
Yes, so donations for the Primplife plan, all the donations, the proceeds from the merch and things we sell, it goes back into the organization so we can create more inspirational content and workshops. So with the bulk of what we do is the comic books and the webtoons, and we have a women illustration team. Oh my gosh, I love them so much.
Turn up. Congratulations on that. I love it.
Thank you. They are so talented, so talented, and they create the webtoons and the images and things like that. And, you know, of course we want to, you know, pay them for their services. And so that is what donations go to. And then also donations go towards the workshops we create. So for example, and we actually just did a fundraiser about a week ago, actually. We were raising money for our STEM workshop, because this month we're focusing on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. That's the webtoon that's being released right now. And in about 2 more weeks, we'll have our STEM workshop where our spokes girls will be making their own lava lamps. And we raise money for that. And so that's an example of what your donations would go towards. And the way I do my donations, especially when we host them live on Facebook, I kind of let each donor know what their contribution has purchased. So for example, we had a $50 donation for the STEM workshop, which pretty much got our lab coats, you know, for our workshop. And so I take a you know, a picture of what we're ordering, and I tag that specific donor, just because I want everyone to know how you are a part of the process.
Absolutely.
Because truly we can't do this without the community involved, you know, whether that be the girls, their parents, the donors, contributors, even the people that like and share our stuff on social media. Like we all need that and to work together. And so yeah, your donations go to positivity and inspiration and just creating that content and getting that out there. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I love it. Now, for those girls who are 6 to 14, let's say you get a young girl who comes in at the age of 6. Will she be able to stay with the Primplife until she's 14? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so pretty much if they come in like at that young age, I'll give an example. Our spokesgirl, her name is Paige. She's also has she's one of the main characters in our webtoon that's seen online as well, primplife.org. But she's 7 years old, and well, she was 7 when she started, and she'll be 9 this year. So, but as she goes on, you know, she'll stick with us throughout the program. But the good thing about Primplife, we tailor the experience to, you know, the age group. So if we're having a workshop and the bulk of the girls are, you know, 6 to 7, then of course we have age appropriate activities just so they can get the most benefit out of that experience. And so as they grow, you know, they get their tailored experience. And then when they turn 14, they technically age out of the program. But I don't like to say like they're aging out, like we're kicking them to the curb or anything.
I know.
but you know, at that point, you know, they're older now, and so they've entered a new realm of primping life or whatever. But we can still be an asset to them through volunteering. I really believe in intergenerational connections, especially with girls.
Yes.
You know, you don't see that a lot, kind of like an older sister, little sister type thing. And so when they turn 14 and they age out, they're always a part of it anyway, but they can come back to volunteer. We always need volunteers. Even if, let's say the girls have an interest in art or illustration, you can come back and be an illustrator. You know, you can blog for us or vlog, things like that. Any way that they can use their talents. It's just that when they turn 14 and older, necessarily like the workshops won't necessarily be tailored for them anymore. It's pretty much how that works. But they're always family. So
right. And I know that's right. You know, it's almost like, you know, we have instilled the information in you that we feel that you need to, you know, be the best that you can possibly be. You know, 14 is, I believe that's middle school or 9th grade, maybe.
Is it 14? Yeah, I think that's like 8th grade going to 9th grade. Yeah, because so I was 14 in the 9th grade.
Because I think at some places, they like merge schools, like high school and middle school. I don't know.
Yeah, oh yeah, they do. In some places, it's like that.
Now with the workshops, how is the workshops tailored? Is it just like a once a month type of thing, or can you get a subscription for a workshop? Can we just talk a little bit more about the workshops and how they can be beneficial?
Yes, great question. So with the workshops, we have both options. So if you do want like a one-time workshop, that's when you would go to primplife.org/workshops, and then it has kind of looks like an appointment thing, and you kind of pick what the group size is and the subject line, and then we contact you with further information. But there is a subscription series, where I call it a curriculum package, because at that point you're getting the comic book, so like the booklets that would come with it, the actual workshop in itself, you know, like the activities and us coming together, and then the curriculum. And the curriculum guide is for the teacher or the facilitator, and that will be on hand for them so they can see what each activity means from a teacher standpoint, and how that looks and what they should be getting out of that. And then also they have the option of choosing a facilitator, which will be myself. You know, and normally people want me to facilitate the workshops, but if they feel like they can handle it, then of course they have the curriculum guide with them. But most of the time I'm, you know, chosen as the facilitator. And then once you order that as a package, you have the option to, okay, I want this every 2 weeks, or I need this program like every month, or, you know, every 3 months, or every 6 months, or like for a yearly package. But that's customizable. So what would happen is when you go to primplife.org/programs and you click sign up, and you pretty much fill out this inquiry form that lets me know kind of like the details, like, okay, I need this for this amount of girls for this time period. And then we pretty much chat and figure out your needs. And then we go from there. Because of course we got to balance the schedules and stuff.
Exactly.
But that is the scheduling process of the workshops. And then the actual workshop itself is the fun part, because everyone can come together and really see the comic book and the activity book come to life. You know, like for example, we did a workshop with some of the older girls. They were about, I think the youngest one was 10. So they were like ages 11 to 13. And we did a social media wellness workshop. And so I'm going to show y'all an example. So pretty much their booklet looks like an Instagram feed with our characters. I don't know if y'all can see that.
I love that.
Thank you. But pretty much, so they have this booklet there in front of them to do the activities, but you know, with the workshop, we make it interactive and it comes to life. So I'm there to, you know, help them fill out the booklet, but we also do activities live and together. And I also make sure each girl introduces themselves and says something about themselves, because it's very important that they use their voice and hear their voice. I'm very big believer in that, especially growing up shy, being super shy. You know, you gotta, like, you know, use your voice and get them to talk and stuff. And then if they already know each other, that makes the workshop go even that much more easier, because they're used to being around each other. But I also find that even if they don't, it really doesn't make a difference. They still have fun. And so it's definitely like a very cultivated experience. I know a real fun one we had, it was called the Remodel You workshop. And we partnered with Hard Press Studio in Greensboro, North Carolina. And that workshop was specifically catered to self-esteem. And, you know, we used the comic book, and we said some affirmations. And then for the activity portion, they were able to, you know, become a model, if you will. And we had them do a little hair and makeup. Wasn't really like hair and makeup. It was, you know, all right. They used our lip gloss and kind of got sparkled up a little bit. And then they were able to show what they learned in front of the camera, pretty much showing like their smile and how happy they were. And then we took a bunch of pictures, and their families got the pictures and things. So things like that. That's what the workshop experience is all about. And it's really the best part, especially to me. Like, it's the fun part.
Now, it sounds like you are extremely busy, especially being a CEO, and not just being a CEO. When you do something that you are passionate about and that you love, you'll find yourself pouring in a lot of energy into it. You'll find yourself pouring a lot of time into it. Are you getting additional help with Primplife? How big is your organization?
So I would say it's a small organization, but it's growing. So it's myself, and then our what you call coordinator, assistant, right hand person, Misha. She pretty much also helps with like all the administrative tasks. She also does some blogging for us as well. And then we have our illustrative team, which is, okay, wait, let me make sure I have everybody. It's Kiara, Marquise. It's seven girls in total. We got a whole squad over there, 7 girls in total on the illustrative team, because that's mainly what we do is create content. And so 7 girls on the illustrative team. And then as far as volunteers, whenever we have an event, we pretty much kind of send out like a volunteer notice, and the people that want to help, they come and help out. And then of course our spokesgirls, that are part of the organization, we have 5, and they don't really, well, they're not really workers per se. They kind of just get the benefit of the program. But yeah, so it's about 7, 8, 9, 10. I'd say about 12 of us. And then we have an event planner as well. And so yeah, we kind of all come together to make this happen.
I love that. Now, anytime that we are dealing with children, I know a lot of questions may be asked. Do you have children of your own?
No, I don't. I'm just a big kid. So that's really all it is. No, I don't have any kids, but I just like, I'm such a kid at heart, and like really like that imagination like component and aspect really just, I guess, gets me to tap into my inner child.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always say, like, even working with the girls, like the age group of like 7 to 9, we're like right here, you know. You know, because they're so like fun and full of energy and things like that. So so even though I don't have kids, even just being able to like tap into my inner child and being a child at heart allows me to relate with the kids. And also, I don't believe you have to be a parent to instill, you know, good messages and good advice for others. You know, as long as you're being, you know, an example. I feel like that's especially important. I pride myself on being like a role model and an example, and not doing anything that I wouldn't want them to do, you know, when they grow up or whatever it is. And so yeah.
I'm happy that you responded to that question like that, because I do feel that it's always going to be someone who is not happy about your success. There's always going to be someone who, you know, they're just angry for whatever the case may be. What have been some of the hurdles that you have crossed when creating Primplife?
Oh man. There's been quite a few. You know, anytime you're like starting an organization, especially one like this, because I call this social entrepreneurship. So, you know, we're focusing on the impact we're making rather than with, you know, for-profit entrepreneurship. And I find that just kind of gathering support, consistent support, is probably like the biggest hurdle we come across. But I'm just super grateful for the people that do support. I don't even focus on, you know, people that are kind of questionable about it, or that don't always lend their support, because we do have a great amount of people that do support what we do. Even if I go to a vendor show and I meet just, you know, random strangers that come across what we do, they always share a kind word. So I really try to just focus on that. But that's one of the hurdles. And then also just let's see, just in the event of organizing, just trying to pull things together, because you know we're a nonprofit, so like we fundraise all of our funds, or the money we make from like our merchandise, like our print gloss, like our vegan lip gloss and stuff.
Ooh, print gloss. We have to talk. that when you get done saying what you are saying. That is super cute.
Thank you. But you know, all that just, it goes back into the organization so we can do what we do, so we can make the webtoons, make the comics, and make the workshops come to life. And so, you know, getting funds for all that to make the events, you know, glamorous and Primplife, sometimes that can be a hurdle. But again, we do have a great amount of support that always like comes through. I notice when I do, because oftentimes when I do fundraisers, I just do it live on Facebook, and I notice there's always like it's about 5 people that always donate. Like they always do. I'm so grateful. Like they really come through every time, you know, because other than that, it's always like different people. But, you know, things like that kind of really make me overlook some of the things you might run into. But mainly that, and just any of the other, you know, struggles that come with running an organization. And I'm a perfectionist, so that can kind of cause problems within itself.
Yeah, it does. Trust me, I know. It is rough being a perfectionist because it's like never good enough until it's good enough. And it might be great.
Right. And you know, as a perfectionist, you don't really ever feel like it's great.
Yeah, it's never good enough.
You're nitpicking it and kind of, you know, trying to like make it perfect. And when in reality, you know, it actually is doing well and it's doing good. So that's been also a huge hurdle, especially with creating the content, because I'm also like, I write the content. So like in the webtoons and stuff, like I'm the one that writes, you know, all that. And even in writing, always like, I don't know, not correcting myself. I'm just always like, okay, wait, does this have the children in mind? Like, is this something that they are going to connect with, you know, when they read this? Is this something like parents, you know, will connect with when they read this? Like, is this giving off, you know, the inspiring or positive energy that, you know, I wanted it to give off when they come across it on the screen? And so even the creative process can be not a hurdle, it can just be kind of tedious.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, no, this needs to look like this. And even with making some of our booklets, like for instance, like the social media booklets and things that we made, even with making that, it's like, okay, wait, does this convey the message? Is this appropriate? You know, and it's really working together with the illustrators to make sure everything kind of comes together and it looks how it should. But I will say that it has always came through, and God is looking out, you know, all the time.
Absolutely. Now I see that you got some goodies sitting over there to your left. Okay. What goodies do you have to show? We want to hear about it. We want to see it. I wish I can use it. Again, to those of you who are just now tuning in, I want to say welcome to Boss Up Radio. We are here with the CEO, Jasmine Jones, okay, of Primplife. So please go and find her on Instagram. Please go and find her on Twitter, Facebook. And what is your website one more time?
Primplife.org.
Great. So please go and support. If you have young girls between the ages of 6 and 14, Primplife is going to be a place where they can grow, where they can elevate, and just get that additional nurturing from this beautiful young lady.
Oh, thank you. Let me see, goodies. So I showed y'all earlier the Primp gloss. So we recently started, when was it? It was last year, our vegan lip gloss line. Because with the Primplife comes our positive lifestyle brand, which is our lip gloss and like apparel. So our t-shirts, and we also have like little Primp Girl like coffee mugs, which we sold out of. So I don't have those with me.
Well, but that's good, right? Selling it.
Yes, that's good. And we also had sold out of like our old edition like print comic books. But luckily I had some activity books left to show you all. But this is the chocolate edition. It's called Melanin, and it's like a nude gloss. And also it's very like kid appropriate, because sometimes I had a father purchase this for his little girl. he was like, wait, this doesn't look like lipstick, does it? And I was like, no, it does not look like lipstick. It's definitely very gloss friendly, but they're actually scented as well. So when you open it and smell it, it smells like chocolate.
Oh, I love that.